Radio Cayman Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson Sewell, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon. Always great to be back in the seat and just facilitating these great conversations. Susan, always good to see you. I love for Susan to be the driver because she's so awesome. So awesome and representing the BRAC and our sister islands and everything. You're probably Grand Cayman by now. You're a Grand Caymanian by now. I know the BRACers still claim you. Exactly. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me this evening. This afternoon, we're actually going to start the conversation with I have some guests in the studio already talking about World Intellectual Property Day. It is the representative from the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office, Miss Candace Westby. She's the director. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
And welcome. Thank you for coming over to chat about this very important topic. We also have a couple of entrepreneurs, business owners that are going to talk about this topic, which is a really, really important topic. Miss Melesia Adderley, is that how you say your name?
That's correct.
All right. She's the founder of Women's Haven. I see you all over the place too, by the way. I saw you in another country.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The Caribbean.
Awesome. So awesome. Congrats. And of course, our very own Mr. Ted Green, who is the CEO and Perfume Creation Director of Ted Green Fragrances. How you doing?
Hello, doing well.
Well, you're just growing up on me, man.
I know. Not that I wouldn't want to stay a bopper forever.
Oh, man, I tell you, it's every day it becomes more and more evident that I, too, am aging because all of you fabulous young people are just like doing your thing, and I love that. It's amazing. And this is a really, really important topic, right? Because intellectual property is something that not a lot of people think about.
Yes.
But it's a big deal. Let's start the conversation.
Yes, it is. Again, thank you for having us here today. It is such a big deal. Ted was saying earlier, so many people create IP, intellectual property, and don't even know it. And we interact with it every day, too, when we choose Colgate over Crest at the grocery store,
Right.
Or we listen to music. We consume a lot of content. All of that is protected by intellectual property. So it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah. And it's something, it's kind of second nature, like you say, but we are every day making choices. Right. And so it is important to recognize when it is something that belongs to someone.
Yes, because it is property. That's the name, right? Intellectual property. And so it's things that people have created with their mind that becomes their property.
Right.
You can't touch it. It's not tangible like you can, live in your house or drive your car, but it still has value. It's still property that belongs to others. And we need to be conscious of that as we interact with it, on a day-to-day basis.
Right. And this is a global thing. This is not just Cayman.
Right. So I don't think there's a single country that doesn't have some kind of intellectual property laws in place. It depends. In some jurisdictions, you'll have all four, which is trademarks, patents, designs, and copyrights. Some are still catching up. Patents is, with inventions, that's a little bit more complicated. But at the very least, you'd have brand protection in place and copyright globally. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think also when it comes to intellectual property, people they kind of take it for granted that someone has sat down and come up with something.
Right.
And therefore it's not just open for anyone to just take and utilize it and not give them the credit or whatever it is that's supposed to come with that, right?
Definitely, and I think the internet has kind of lent itself to that in social media because we see things just floating around. We think, okay, I can just take that image and, use it on my Instagram or whatever, but, that's not, you need to have permission.
Right, Ted?
Yeah. I think also people just don't realize that it's an asset. Like your intellectual property is the foundation of whatever you're doing.
Right.
In 2024 and beyond, as far as we can see, your brand is probably the most valuable thing in your business.
Right.
And so to talk about IP today is very important. It's very important that we realize that we have regimes in Cayman, so I'm very happy to be here, to protect it, so other people can't infringe on your rights to your ideas and your work and your brand.
Right. Now, you particularly, your brand has grown since, when did you start?
I started in 2007.
Right.
I came to market in 2010 with my first two fragrances. But between 2007 and 2010, there's a whole heap of intellectual property that would have been generated.
Right.
I started as a hobby, so I wasn't really interested. I was just going about, this is my passion project.
Yeah.
But certainly as you start to think about your operation in terms of a business, you start to think, oh, well, I put so much work in, I put so much effort in, I put so much money in. How do I actually protect this thing that I've created
Right.
from being infringed upon?
Right.
And also that people can't come and claim my rights.
Right.
Right? Because as far as I understand how the laws actually work, I can apply for a trademark for Melesia's business.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
So somebody could see his brand doing so well, and you know what? I don't see Ted Green on the register. I'm going to send it in. It's the first person to file, then Ted would have to take all these steps to fight them. And
Right.
yeah,
There
it's
was
more
an incident
expensive.
with Katy Perry with that as well
Yeah.
too, the singer versus someone else, and they weren't able. The actual singer wasn't able to win the lawsuit. Like they lost it because of that.
Yeah.
And back to your point regarding it being an asset, like people need to understand that when you have a trademark, like you add value by the actual value of your business now goes up because of that.
Right.
You know, some people don't really think that that adds any, fiscal monetary value to your business
look
other
at it
than
as
the
an
thing.
expense, don't they?
Exactly. So, but you actually increases the value of your business. And
Right.
like you said, being in multiple different countries as well is something that you need to look into. Like with the Women's Haven, we're in multiple different countries, and you need to understand that trademarks are respective to each respective country that you're in. So back to your point that, anyone can just go in any country and just register your name, and even if you're not there, you may not have any intention of being there, but they could do it. So you have to take that into account when you have exposure to other markets as well.
Right. And you might not even know
Exactly.
that it's happening.
Exactly.
Right? So, and that's a big deal because it is your property. And I was thinking as you were talking just now, Melesia, I was thinking about, I'm going to take us way back, okay? And it was the Con Air movie. You guys probably too young. Ask your mommy. Ask your mommy. When Nicolas Cage was at his height, right? There's a song that was sung at the end. And I think it was one of the theme songs, and it was, How Do I?
Yes,
Right?
I know that
And
song.
it won so many Grammys, but who won the Grammy was not who sang the song on the movie. So Trisha Yearwood actually sang the song, but it was Leanne Rimes.
That
It was
one,
it was her rendition of it that became popular, but as a result of them hearing it on Con Air.
Right.
So it seemed like what happened is the songwriter, which was not either of them, had written this beautiful song and sold it to a couple of people.
Yes.
And as you were just saying, Melesia, if they had gotten a trademark for it at that point, that could not have happened.
Yeah.
And so we go to this amazing movie, and it's an amazing movie, by the way. I know it don't have all the big hoops and whatever, now, but it's a beautiful story. And at the end, you hear this beautiful, this love song, and they're finally back together. And you just want to go out and get this record.
Yes.
And you end up getting, because I actually went and bought the CD or whatever was selling. It might have been a
Just for that
cassette. I
song.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I bought it for that, and I bought Leanne Rimes. And I thought to myself, because I sing, right? I have a singing background. I thought to myself, this sounds a little different. But it was still beautiful, because Leanne Rimes is a beautiful singer.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, when the Grammys came up, Trisha Yearwood, she won the Grammy, but she did not make all that money.
Yeah.
And she said it when she accepted the Grammy.
Yes.
She was like, thank you guys for recognizing that. It was me that first released this song, and
Yeah.
but as you was talking, that's what my mind went to right away. So when we don't think about IP, it's happening all around us at all times. And so it is very important to protect your brand, protect your name.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. I am here with representatives from the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office. The director is here with us, Miss Candace Westby, as well as two of our own entrepreneurs and, just doing their thing out there with some great products. Miss Melesia Adderley, she's the founder of Women's Haven, as well as Mr. Ted Green, the CEO and perfume creation director of Ted Green Fragrances. You're here listening to us on Talk Today. And if you have anything that you would like to add to this conversation, we invite you to give us a call, because it would be awesome if you wanted to ask a question to one of my guests or make a comment regarding IP. That would be awesome. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Talk Today right after these messages.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square, and I got find my way to Barbados. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana, plus Barbados. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Digicel has teamed up with Capella. We're giving away tickets for you and a friend to attend Cayman's biggest music festival. Win 2 Capella tickets. Simply activate a 30-day Prime Max plan or be an active postpaid customer and you could be our lucky winner. Don't miss out on this epic event. Go to your nearest Digicel store today or the My Digicel app for your chance to win. Digicel. Better connected.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson Sewell. I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. We are having a riveting conversation about IP. I mean, to call IP conversation riveting is but we are having a riveting conversation because we have some great guests. We do have Ms. Candace Westby, who's the director of the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office in Cayman, which is something that we have had now since 2017.
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
And before it was under the UK, you were saying?
Well, yes. So there was also always an intellectual property desk as a part of the General Registry Department. But in the recent years, we've recognized the importance of just having intellectual property as a focus. And so now, since 2017, we started direct registration of trademarks. So you don't have to go to the UK IPO anymore to register and then come to Cayman. We've cut out that middleman. You can come straight to us.
All right, great. And we also have Miss Melesia Adderley, who's the founder of Women's Haven. as well as Mr. Ted Green, the CEO and Perfume Creation Director of Ted Green Fragrances. But we've also now been joined by quite a prestigious guest who does not want to upstage anybody, but he's already upstaged us because he walked in. It's the Deputy Premier, the Honorable André Ebanks. I mean, you can't not upstage people. Come on. How are you? Good afternoon, sir.
I'm just a simple public servant.
Yes, you are. But the fact that, you are, and you're our Deputy Premier, so you're quite a busy man. To find time to come here today, we want to thank you for that.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to the listening public in Cayman and Caymanians overseas. You're right. I found the time in the busy schedule today because this is one of the areas in our framework that is underestimated, underutilized, and undervalued. So happy World IP Day. I am super proud of the Intellectual Property Office, head by Ms. Candace, who's doing a fantastic job, all of the subordinates underneath of her, as well as the ministry staff and support. So I just came to just say how important it is and the opportunities it creates, importantly, for our grassroots creatives.
Absolutely. And we're learning a lot about it because, it's something, as you said, Candace, we don't think about, right? And I had another example too. So I had the example about Trisha Yeardwood and Leanne Rimes and that song. But there's another one, and I understood that there was a movie made from a book, but the person did not get the credit.
Oh, wow. I don't know how that happened. Usually, so when it comes to books, it's protected by copyright.
Right.
And the writer would have to give permission for that book to be adapted into a movie or a film. So,
right. But it didn't happen.
Wow.
It was like a little self-published book. And it was just, just kind of underground.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, usually.
And they saw their story on this big screen.
I hope they took action because, you do have rights, against infringements. So.
Yeah, they ended up, the story was that it was a big fight and they couldn't afford the fight. So they,
That's so sad. Yeah. And that happens to a lot of creators and entrepreneurs, going back to what Ted was saying earlier about someone seeing your brand and then registering it before you. Yeah. If they register it and it's a big company and you can't fight them, then you just lose it. I've heard of so many cases over the world where brand reps have had to completely rebrand because they just can't go through the fight against these companies.
The good thing, like you were saying, is that we do have social media now. We do have, we have, I guess, if you email something to someone, you have proof of something.
Yes.
Wherein, 20, 30 years ago, you're sitting around your little typewriter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's good and it's
easier
bad.
to prove. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's easier to steal, but it's also easier to prove.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that's the whole point. It takes money to prove it. Litigation. And so to prevent that all from happening, that's why you protect it by trademarking.
Correct.
And copyrights, as Ms. Candace was saying, it's interesting that happened in that book deal. I would have thought that in court, because copyrights come about a natural order of law.
Yes.
And so that's interesting that happened. But certainly for any entrepreneurs creating things, I also think that's something that as a business person that we overlook is kind of like, your trade secrets.
Right.
And, those are so important. And I know you can't go and register a trade secret per se unless it's maybe like a patent for an invention or something.
Yeah.
But, a lot of, it's so interesting, you do business and a lot of people just don't understand the value of things like confidentiality agreements, non-disclosure agreements, employee contracts. And so...
Would you like to come work for us then?
He's kind of doing all right over there. Fragrances.
Exactly.
So maybe not.
not
He's blushing.
That's flattering. But,
he knows a lot about this stuff.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. I had some turtle stew one day at one of the things that was done on the island. And of course, when I heard that they were selling turtle stew, I was like, absolutely. And she's like, I'm from East End. And I was like, well, give me my plate. Like literally, just because she said that. And, when I had it, I thought they did not give you the 100% secret then. You know what I mean? Like, because it was not what I thought it was going to be. And as you were talking, Ted, I was just thinking, your ground is putting like a little dab. They're not telling you all this exactly. So what about things like that, though?
Yeah, that's an intellectual property right called trade secrets, as Ted said, and you don't register it because the whole point is to keep it a secret. And if you disclosed it to CIPO, short for Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office,
Someone
would
has it now.
right. Somebody would have it, so it's no longer a secret. But it has to be, in order for it to be recognized as a trade secret, you have to get some commercial value from it. It has to be kept a secret, and then you take steps as well to keep it a secret. So NDAs, like he said, non-compete agreements, robust IT infrastructure, all of this helps to keep that framework in place. So if you're a mom and pop shop that's doing excellent turtle stew, don't tell everybody in the shop how to make it, because then it's not a secret anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Someone was saying that to me. Now, I know you all had to go way back for Conair, but Miss Carita's chili? You remember that? Okay, because that's your time, right? Because I'm Miss K's chili. That was in the 80s, right? So you guys, Miss Carita. Well, Miss Carita is my aunt. So, and so, we talked about doing a cookbook for a while just because so many people said, boy, I remember Miss Carita's chili, and it's funny because we talk all the time about our Caymanians and secrets that are just going with them, right? So what would you suggest for things like that, though?
Yeah, so I would say get one person in the family to write down the recipes. You don't have to give it to the whole family if you plan to get commercial value out of it, but at least one person to record them. Keep it somewhere safe. Don't have it just out in, on the kitchen counter for anybody to come and write down. I give the example of Coca-Cola, their secret formula, that's been a trade secret for hundreds of years.
Right.
Angostura Bitters is a Caribbean example that's a 200-year-old trade secret.
Right.
And they take painstaking steps to protect those recipes.
Right.
And that's what we need to do, It has values.
Was there a similarity with Coca-Cola and Pepsi that you're aware of? Because they're very similar.
Yeah, they are very similar. I believe that over the years, many companies have tried to recreate Coca-Cola, their formula, but they have some really strange things in place to protect that. So it's going to be hard to have the exact Coke.
So,
it is distinctive.
Yeah.
And some people prefer Pepsi.
Yes.
And some people prefer Coca-Cola.
Yes.
That's the interesting thing. Now, I got a question. I know we're going to take a break. Are we taking a little break in a while? Yeah, okay. So I'll ask this question. Have you had any experience of someone, I'm talking to Ted and maybe Melesia, someone trying to, I don't know, like take your stuff or say, well, this was mine, or duplicating it in some way?
I have had an experience with that, unfortunately, here in Cayman. I was going to allude to that point after you were finished talking as well, because sometimes we get quite comfortable, in where we are. Like, okay, well, I'm selling my products here in Cayman. People see it. They know me, like, who can go and go take my stuff and act like that in a small country. But actually, that happened to me.
Yeah.
Here in Foster's, the product was there, and another brand came, and they took all my words, and they put it on their packaging. Wow. And I went there one day, and I was like, what's this? This is my words? Like, this cannot be real. In my country? Like,
what did you do?
Well, I took action. Okay. I immediately contacted the brand. I spoke to them about it. They confirmed that they admitted to what they did.
Okay, well, that's good.
And all of that. I went to my lawyers, did a cease and desist with bold comparison wording to show the similarities and how close it was to my brand.
Wow.
They responded with a lawyer's letter apologizing, said it was a mistake or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
They had to take their packaging off the shelving, and they changed everything up a bit. And that happened here.
Well, go ahead.
The system worked.
Yeah.
The system worked.
It works.
Yeah. Well, it's good that person, the way that they responded to.
Yes, because it could have been, I could have taken it further, because that's something you have to look into as well. And prior to that, I didn't have my actual approval here in Cayman, because it's a process. It doesn't just happen like in a month or two.
Right.
Like, I'm going through that process before I have my official registration. I'm like, oh my God, this can't be serious. But you know what I mean? That's just my life. Like, Women's Haven is my baby. I started that. Right. All those words took me months to put them together in that way.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't an overnight. It wasn't no chat GPT back in my time when I first started. So it wasn't that easy, right? I actually had to think about these things. Yeah. So It was quite scary.
Yeah.
But I made it through, thankfully. I mean, it was pretty obvious. They couldn't fight it. If they wanted to, I could have taken them to court and make a big deal about it. But again, leads back to the expenses that you incur going through the court filings and all that. Do I want to go through all that?
Right.
But I took the easy way out, and I was like, well, I'm glad that they admitted to their mistakes and they did what they had to do. But it still made me feel uncomfortable, and it's something to be aware of. That don't matter that small country, everybody know who you are. They see you, they'll still try.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I've had what you're saying is I had the opposite opinion when I came back home maybe 20-something years ago, that as soon as you say it in a room, somebody else can say it again and say that they said it. So I started to learn that when I wanted something to be done, I'd just say it in the room. And then someone else would just run with it. And it was notorious because it was like, yeah, great idea. Yeah. Like if I had a recording, so don't take that for granted. It absolutely happens. And you just have to take care of yourself. And I'm very happy for, the fact that we have an official, place that you register and that protects all of that. That's what's needed. It is 2024, right? So
and it's
we have to be careful.
I feel if you're going to be regional, I think like a lot of people don't understand this. Like they'll just get a trademark in Cayman. Like for example, we're in 10 Caribbean countries. In major supermarkets and pharmacies, like we're involved at high levels around the Caribbean. It's important to get trademarks in all the countries that you plan to have presence with your products in. Like don't just focus on because you're headquartered here in Cayman. Wherever you're planning to have your products distributed to, access to, anything like that, just make sure you have your trademarks. I even have a trademark in Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I'm not even in England yet or anywhere in the European region, but I am preparing myself.
I'm proud of you
to do that.
That is awesome.
I was going to say, that is remarkable.
That's awesome.
I'm sitting here proud of you.
Thank you. Absolutely.
I mean, doesn't she sound like Serena Williams? Like she has her lawyers, she has her 10 countries.
Why is her picture not up around the island proud of them? They need to up the age for the proud of them.
Yeah, and even if you want to be on things like Amazon, like I'm an approved Amazon brand, like you have to show proof of trademark, like
you need to have a workshop.
Yeah,
when is your workshop? When is your entrepreneurial workshop? You and Ted get together, do something like that. We're going to take a quick break. I'll be back. Hold that thought. Susan is pressing me down. Now I got to take a break. We'll be back with more talk today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Digicel has teamed up with Capella. We're giving away tickets for you and a friend to attend Cayman's biggest music festival. Win 2 Capella tickets. Simply activate a 30-day Prime Max plan or be an active postpaid customer and you could be our lucky winner. Don't miss out on this epic event. Go to your nearest Digicel store today or the My Digicel app for your chance to win. Digicel. Better connected.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Capella Music Festival is back on Saturday, April 27th at the Festival Green at Camana Bay, featuring a jam-packed lineup of local performers and international stars. With reggae royalty, Damian Jr. Gun Marley, soft rock heavyweight, Richard Marx, dance pop star, Becky Hill, Afrobeat star, Iris Star, soca sensation, Jazz the Band, and world champion DJ, DJ Bubby. Purchase your tickets now at CapellaMusicFestival.com.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Our climate is changing, and so is Cayman. Stronger and more frequent hurricanes, longer periods of drought, sea level rise, and higher temperatures are already impacting our communities. If we take nature into account before we act, we can harness nature's benefits and reduce the devastation caused by natural disasters. Because when we put nature front and center, nature can provide the solutions.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson Sewell, I'm sitting in for Sterling. What's on our mind this afternoon, right now, is intellectual property. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Cayman Islands Intellectual Property Office that is actually, it falls under the Ministry for Financial Services and Commerce. So that's where you come in, Deputy Premier, Honorable André Ebanks. You started this? Did you start this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, it's just something
I don't want to be oversold.
You started a lot of stuff, but not that.
That would ironically infringe on somebody else's IP rights.
Exactly what we're talking about. Good answer. It was a trick question, by the way.
You set it up nicely. But if you take the last segment, there's a reason why I thought make the time for this subject that, again, is underestimated. Take Ms. Adderley's story of someone infringing on her IP rights.
Right.
So just remember that. It's no different than if you had a popsicle stand and someone comes in and takes out of it physically. What they've done is try to take the ideas that are out of your head. So you have done, from all the sounds of it, an incredible job building a business that came from your head. The IP framework then protected your rights. Someone tried to infringe upon your rights. You got your lawyers, big time.
Yes.
And then you were able to defend your rights.
Yeah.
So that is a proof point of what possibilities exist for young people to be a creative, how to protect it, and how to capitalize and make money.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely an example of what we can do. And even though Cayman is such a small place, I think like sometimes we almost like downplay ourselves, you know.
Yes, we
but
do.
but we're in the middle. We're like a mecca, right? In the middle of all of this. And ever since COVID, especially, I feel like the light's been shown on us because of how well we were doing, and you know, people just wanted to come in here and be a part of us. And we now have to be. We got to be fighting for our intellectual property, just period, as a little country. That's what I think. So I believe that you know, the example that you've kind of shared is that, you know, you're all over, right? And you're about that, and you'll fight for yourself.
Yes.
And Ted, you've been doing that for years as well. I know that your perfumes are manufactured not in Cayman. I think Europe is where originally I knew the banana orchid or something had started, right? My friend, by the way, just sent me a photo of the bottle and said, "I'm gonna need some more of this, by the way, because I'm
good stuff.
Yeah, if you don't mind." I was like, "He has some other ones too, you know." So, you know, just really incredible, and just an example for our young people that are listening, to follow that lead, because, I joked about how you're growing up. Like, I remember, 10, 15, 20 years ago when you were just a little kid, and you're not a little kid anymore. And that's
still young at heart. Still young at heart. Young at heart. Yeah.
Always be, but really just like being a mover and a shaker in the world, and needing to protect your rights and talk about that. Now, I know that the day that's observed globally is when, Candace?
It's April 26th, which is next Friday. But being the Cayman Islands, we like to...
The whole month.
Yeah, we like to make a big splash of it and, make sure that we get these guys the spotlight and also shine light on what we're doing at SIPO and the registration process and what's available. And just to give some context, because we talk about Cayman, being a small jurisdiction, but our registers have been steadily growing since we started direct registration in 2017. Each year, we're now up to almost 600 new registrations of trademarks each year. And we're talking international companies, you name it, they're registering here. So, I want to say that even our locals, we want you as well on the register, because these big brands are taking advantage of the system we have here. So we encourage them to, file their applications at the office. Yeah.
Right. And you have some stuff coming up?
Yes, we do. So yesterday we started in-house with the government building, and we did a lunch and learn for civil servants on IP, because it's important that our civil servants, and we also have a lot of entrepreneurial civil servants, so we did that yesterday. Today we have our radio session here with you guys, and then next week coming up, we have Monday a Zoom workshop, everything you need to know about IP, and that one is relatively easy to attend. You just go on our website, ciipo.ky, and register. And then we've partnered with the Cayman Islands Center for Business Development to host every last Thursday of the month. They host lunch and learns for entrepreneurs, and they have given us a spot to in observance of World IP Day next Thursday, April 25th at 12 p.m. Again, you can go on our website to register. And then we do have our registered agents who have graciously agreed to give their time to some IP clinics next Friday, also at the Cayman Islands Center for Business Development. So if you're interested in getting registered and you want an expert to give you some, guidance in that process, register and come and get that help that you need.
Okay, and that's ciipo.ky. Yeah. You have a phone number as well?
Yes, it's 946-7922. And you can also email my team at info@ciipo.gov.ky.
All right, sounds good. Any final thoughts?
Yes, just encouraging everyone to come out to the sessions to get more information. I will be presenting at the Lunch and Learn next Thursday, and I plan to gear that more towards entrepreneurs. So like Ted was saying, how to register, what's the process, things you want to think about when you're designing your brand, because there's a lot of things people don't know that will stop you from getting it registered. So we're going to make sure that it's worthwhile, your lunch break. I know it's your lunch hour. We'll have some food there for you as well. So encourage you to come out and also to attend some of the other sessions. And just remember that your intellectual property has value.
Where is that going to be exactly?
So it's the Small Business Development Center, which is in the same plaza as KFC on Westby Road, right at the corner.
Okay.
Next to the elections office.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good to know. Thank you very much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I got to get your phone number.
Sure.
So I can.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much for having us here. IP is so important.
Yes.
I know it's one of the things we've been talking about, the nature of this conversation. It's just undervalued. It's the biggest value add to your business in 2024. And see you all at the events coming up.
Yes. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been a great conversation, and any information, they can always just reach out to you. CIIPO. I'm so impressed with that because it's so simple.
Yes.
CIIPO, Cayman Islands
Rolls off the tongue.
Intellectual Property Office. Yes. And Deputy Premier?
Very quickly, thank you all. Thank Candace and all of the team. This is hugely important. I unfortunately won't be here next week for the actual day itself. So Happy World IP Day in advance. I traveled overseas on financial services business in Asia. Exciting things happening. I broke away from a conference right now, which is the country's first inaugural reinsurance conference happening right now at the Ritz.
Wow.
Lots of overseas delegates coming here to try to build that business, continue to build the business, I would say. Earlier this week, there was a huge investment funds conference. Great things happening all over. So I will come back after my trip to Asia next week. Come look for you. Please tell my cousin Sterling I stopped by.
Okay.
He wasn't here today. Tell him I stopped by.
Okay.
And I'll do the rounds to report on that trip and a few other exciting developments.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Appreciate that. I know the news is waiting and people are waiting on the news, but this has been news, and I'm very excited about all the things that you all are doing. And congratulations to all of you on your hard work and for holding down the fort, Miss Candace.
Thank you.
Yeah, I feel good. I feel like the world's in good hands. I feel like I'm closer to sitting on my porch and putting my foot up, knowing it's going to be all right because you guys are handling your business. Okay? We'll be back with more talk today. Stay tuned.